Whenever you feel compelled to put others first at the expense of yourself, you are denying your own reality, your own identity. Consider a scenario where a professional works non-stop on a project, investing time and energy to guarantee the quality of the finished product. But, in order to avoid confrontations or to seem kind, they feel obliged to help a colleague who requests assistance in finishing their part of the work. Although this action would initially appear to be kind, from a Stoic viewpoint, it undermines the value of justice, which includes treating others fairly and oneself with dignity as well. The professional would be giving up their time without thinking about how to strike the right balance between looking out for others and looking after themselves. In this situation, being an always willing helper could undermine one's sense of self-justice. We're taught to prioritize the needs of others before our own and to be kind to others. But does anyone ever warn us that having too much compassion and kindness might be harmful? You would be shocked to learn that there are negative consequences of being overly kind to others. In today's video, I'm going to tell you about 9 ways kindness can destroy you. Watch till the end to see if your kindness might be harming you. You will have very high expectations of people. According to the Stoics, we should accept things as they are and stop depending on other people's actions to bring us happiness. Giving without expecting too much in return helps you exercise emotional detachment, which calms your mind and prevents you from being disappointed. Whether you realize it or not, however, it's challenging to offer help with complete selflessness. When we help others in any way, we often expect them to reciprocate that when we need it. But this doesn't always happen. People will take it for granted that you can manage every aspect of both your and their life, particularly theirs. In their own perspective, if you can help them, then you have helped yourself first. Otherwise, why would you be doing it? As a result, they fail to reciprocate your efforts, making you feel depressed, angry, and fatigued. But looking at it objectively, these people are not failing you. Rather, they are just acting according to what you've taught them. It might lead to self-neglect. Being overkind means you are a never-ending supply of help and encouragement to other people. Although on face value, this looks like a good thing, it might unintentionally cause you to overlook your own spiritual, physical, and mental health. If you ignore this self-neglect, it might seriously affect your spiritual development and inner journey. Seneca, a famous Stoic philosopher known for his timeless insights, said, "To be everywhere is to be nowhere." This insight captures the difficulty that arises when you are constantly focused on helping other people. When you're focused on being present everywhere for everyone, whether physically or emotionally, you run the risk of overlooking the vital practice of self-care. The Stoic path helps you to understand that real wisdom is found in maintaining a balance between caring for others and yourself. It places a strong focus on wisdom and self-control. It's about striking a balance between the authentic, sincere kindness you show to other people and the equally important task of fostering your own spiritual vigor. Neglecting this internal nourishment may cause a disconnect from your inner self, which may hinder your path of wisdom and self-discovery. Your goals will not be taken into account. The Stoics advised us that in order to maintain balance and avoid sacrificing our identity and well-being for the sake of others, we should live by reason and virtue, set boundaries, and prioritize our own needs. One of the most crucial aspects of good health is taking care of oneself. Making sure you're content, pampered, and well cared for is a prerequisite for helping others feel better. In other words, don't gift someone a chocolate bar until you've had one yourself and truly appreciated it. Likewise, don't offer to clean a friend's house until after you've finished cleaning your own and enjoyed a good movie and some wine. You come before everything else in the world. People will think you are weak and treat you that way. Stoic wisdom helps you to focus on developing your strength and self-control. By establishing boundaries and exercising self-control, you can show others that you are dedicated to your obligations and values, hence winning their respect rather than coming across as weak. If you are always helping others, you may assume you are regarded as an expert in the field. You might, however, be giving off the complete opposite image. People begin to perceive you as weak when you don't set boundaries. They know you won't turn them down, so much such that they come to you to rid themselves of their obligations. On the other hand, the moment you use the magic word no, giving yourself the priority you deserve, people will begin to feel a respect for you that they never believed they would. You end up a giver and rarely a taker. When you're a kind person who often goes above and beyond to help others, it can be confusing and discouraging to realize that the help you receive when you're in need doesn't live up to your expectations. When you ask for help, the same people you've shown kindness to may occasionally answer with excuses and hesitation. But not us. We love a give-and-take relationship, so subscribe to our channel and we'll deliver life-changing content. Non-reciprocity shows a clear imbalance in your relationships. You are quick to offer assistance, time, and effort to people who are in need, but it appears that when the tables are turned, there is a lack of motivation to return the favor. This disparity might be especially upsetting since it makes you feel alone, wondering if the relationships you've made are fair. You often find it hard to form genuine relationships with others. It can be a serious problem if your identity is inextricably formed by your capacity for help and encouragement. People may interact with you largely for the benefits you provide, such as guidance, practical assistance, or emotional support. Your value is then determined by your utility rather than your inherent qualities. People come to you for what you can offer rather than for who you are as a person. Because of this one-sided dynamic, it can be difficult to establish truly genuine relationships, ones in which there is a reciprocal exchange of support, understanding, and care. Such a dynamic can make it hard for you to interact with people in an authentic way, since these relationships might not have the depth required for meaningful spiritual connections. This can leave a feeling of hollowness and alienation from others, which impede your spiritual and personal development. You end up always attracting broken people. When you exude too much kindness, you may unintentionally find yourself drawing those who need it, essentially broken people. Although it could appear like a logical outcome of your sympathetic disposition, this pattern presents a deeper spiritual concept. Being too kind may sometimes seem like a cry for help, in that you treat others how you wish you were treated. This inadvertently draws people who feed off the kindness of others. The frequency becomes unbalanced and almost overpowers your personal boundaries with a disruptive force, similar to a melody that loses depth and nuance when performed too loudly. This spectrum draws dependence rather than real connections, obscuring your identity with the needs of others. It is spiritually exhausting to be drawn to broken souls all the time. You may discover that you devote a great deal of your emotional and spiritual energy to encouraging and upholding these people. Offering comfort, a sympathetic ear, and understanding can be a noble act, but sometimes it has the unintentional result of carrying the spiritual burdens of others, leaving you emotionally exhausted. You end up tolerating things you are not okay with to avoid conflict. Occasionally, kindness might be a way of avoiding conflict. You could decide to be cautious and kind in order to keep peace and avoid confrontations. Although this strategy has advantages, it also presents a spiritual conundrum, since it might impede the development and depth of your relationships. Contrary to popular belief, conflict can be a testing ground for spiritual development. It has the capacity to reveal suppressed feelings, draw attention to deep-seated problems, and promote candid conversations. By acknowledging the flaws and weaknesses in interpersonal relationships, you create a space for healing and transformation when you engage in conflict. When you choose to stay out of confrontation by being kind to others, you may unintentionally be denying yourself and others the opportunity to grow spiritually and emotionally. It's critical to remember that disagreement, when handled with empathy and compassion, can result in a greater understanding of both you and the people you interact with. Learning to embrace disagreement with compassion and awareness may be a very useful tool for healing emotional wounds, preserving your own well-being, and fortifying your bonds with others. It serves as a reminder that genuine compassion includes both the pleasure of harmony and the essential friction required to advance and expand your spiritual development. In this delicate balance, you discover that disagreement, when handled with wisdom, can serve as a catalyst for significant personal development and transformation. You can end up losing your individuality. Losing your identity means putting other people's wants and preferences before your needs, values, and desires. This happens frequently as a result of being too friendly to other people. It may become harder to stand up for your preferences and principles in this environment, which might cause your distinct identity to gradually erode. As you consistently put the needs of others before your own, you start to lose sight of your aspirations and objectives. You become disconnected from your goals and what really makes you happy. This loss of identity is further exacerbated by the fact that kind people frequently find it difficult to establish appropriate boundaries, which leads to a blurring of the distinctions between their personal and others' spaces. Over time, you end up relying on the affirmation and acceptance of others for your sense of worth. You may feel more and more dependent on outside sources as a result of this. To refer to the wisdom of Epictetus, if you are tempted to look outside yourself for approval, you have compromised your integrity. If you need a witness, be your own. Overindulgence in kindness may sometimes lead to the repression of your true nature. It can be detrimental to your authenticity and personal development to feel pressure to live up to the expectations and desires of others. Do you want to learn how to gently nurture your true self even more? Watch our next video for more Stoic wisdom.